welcome to your award-winning The Reasons I'm Broke podcast, bringing you the reasons we're broke every single week through news and headlines ranging from comics, movies, TV, video games, and more. I'm Daniel, and today I've got two of the three lazy gaming guys. First off, we've got Julian returning. Welcome back, Julian.
Hello, everyone. I am back again and again and again.
Fresh off of our Jurassic Park retrospective. Thank you for coming back. And also Jacque making his second appearance on the Reasons I'm Broke podcast. Thanks for being on again, Jacque.
Hello, I am in great pain.
One of these days he'll be able to be here without me.
He worked out in the morning and we were talking off mic, and we'll go into that in the Broke Up block, but you overworked it a little bit at the gym, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That's good. Like I was saying, no pain, no gain.
But too much pain doesn't do anything now, does it?
No, it takes you out of the gym for a few months.
Exactly.
But if this is your very first episode, the way we format the show is we go through a block of news. This week we have what's new on HBO Max for the month, the May 2022 highlights, and then we end it with the Broke Up block, which is what Julian, Jacque, and I have been doing since you last heard us, the more personal side of the show where you get to know us a little bit better. So let's jump right in and explore sector number 507. In a tweet thread last week, the director to Balan Wonderworld, Yuji Naka, placed the blame on Square Enix and developer Airzist over the end result. He said, quote, "It is a real shame that we released the unfinished work Balan Wonderland to the world. I wanted to release it to the world as an action game in a proper form considering various things. I think Square Enix and Airzist are companies that do not care about games and game fans," end quote. I know Sonic the Hedgehog fans especially were excited for this game since Naka is one of the creators to Sonic the Hedgehog. Did either of you play this game? Is he crossing the line on this? What do you guys feel about it?
Okay, Yuji Naka. Listen, I doubt you'll listen to this because, freaking some random American podcast, but, anybody has connections to Yuji Naka, please just send him this little snippet right here. I played Balan Wonderworld, which, one, you should have called it Balan Wonderland, makes a lot more sense, in my opinion, because it's like this name doesn't make any sense. Also, we know you tried to make Knights again. It's okay. You just really want to make Knights, just because but you don't have connections to the Knights IP anymore. The dude looks like Knights, has like this weird Knights dream world-esque feel to it. It's also way too simple. It's like, I didn't mark this. No. Unless you are not telling us something, Square Enix most likely didn't sit there and say, let's make this game where pretty much every button does the same action for whatever stupid random suit the character puts on, and is able to do freaking like, oh, now I can do a double jump, or this button, and then X spins, Y spins, B spins, whatever controller you're freaking on. The problem is the game does not have a lot of substance in it. The gameplay is too easy. The story cutscenes are cute and very, very dreamlike, but it's like, fucking what the hell? It would have been a decent game if it had a lot more substance to it, if I'm going to put a pin on this.
So we know what's wrong with it, but what he's blaming the studio. He's saying it's not his fault.
Was he saying that Square Enix contribution to this was?
Well, to be honest, I've seen it's like this is like one. Yuji Naka is kind of he's not the easiest person.
No. I'm saying
Sonic, he wasn't easy to work with as a director.
What was he saying that Square Enix contribution was?
That's the problem. He's not giving any details on what their contribution is.
He's not giving any detail because it's like, what was it like?
I know he said they didn't give him enough time. He wanted more time to refine it.
Like when I first heard that, like that is something that you hear happen a lot with like these bigger studios with or like in a bigger companies working with somebody, and they'll like make them like push the product like out the door. I mean, we've seen this happen a million times. Freaking Destiny, No Man's Sky, pretty much like most AAA games that come out nowadays, they get pushed out the door so fast that like they come out like inferior products to what they were intended to be.
I mean,
Sometimes they're fixing updates, sometimes they're not. I don't know if that's the case with Balan Wonderworld, but
that couldn't have been the case with
like,
Balan Wonderworld. It feels like no. This game doesn't feel unfinished. No, it doesn't feel unfinished. This feels like what they wanted to make it. This felt like I played it. The game looks decent. It looks good. It looks like another like colorful Sega character game, like with all other Dreamcast ones, with Knights and Samba de Amigo and all these things. It's like the action and stuff. The actions are fine. You know, the whole game looks colorful. It has this stupid, weird, childlike system where it's like with these little fuzzball things you got to collect and all this crap. It feels like a finished game. It's just the game has no substance. Unless Square Enix, unless you're going to tell us that they cut the budget for you, and but no, you said they didn't give you enough time. It's like, what else was there to do?
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe have substance from substance to begin with.
On this rant, I don't know. I kind of give the guy the benefit of the doubt because maybe like he's like not mentioning something because it could get him in like hot water with Square Enix. I kind of learned my lesson with like criticizing creators for poorly produced products sometimes when with the whole Steven Universe thing where I found out like how much Cartoon Network really messed over Steven Universe.
Yeah, but with this isn't the same
I was
issue.
like, like I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know.
Jacque,
you could be right. You could be right on that. But
I'm a Sonic fan. I've paid attention to Yuji Naka and like certain articles about it. It's like Yuji Naka wasn't the easiest person to work with. Because Yuji Naka, sometimes he doesn't give enough details. Sometimes he gives too much. He cares about the wrong things. Yuji Naka, when it came to this game, I think he had a vision, but he didn't have the right people to execute it. And literally, they executed it to the best of their abilities. And pretty much it's like, oh, this isn't enough. It's like, well, if they released it like that, well, damn, that fucking sucks. But you need to say that. It's like, tell us what else they didn't give you time to do. What other things were you going to put in the game? Because this game looks done. It feels done. It doesn't, but it's stupid easy and takes like no effort at all to finish. Yeah. And it's like a weird psychedelic dream sequence that literally even someone on weed would go, what the fuck?
All right. I can see where you're coming from on that. There could be, I'll just say there could be more to it that we're not seeing, but I really know very little about this game. I had to like Google it. What I Google it, like YouTube it while you're talking about it, and I know now. I recognize the character, so I know what game you're talking about. But
you could play that. Hell, go get a cheap copy from GameStop. Everybody, go get a cheap copy from GameStop after this. Play the game yourself and tell me that this game feels like it's unfinished. It's like it doesn't feel unfinished at all. This feels like what Yuji Naka wanted, but then as soon as it didn't go the way it does, like other things have happened in the past. Like I can't remember which exact game it was.
He has a habit for this. He has a habit of like the game not going the way he wants and blaming.
Yeah, that's what happened with Sonic. That's what started with Sonic 06. Like, this is not really going the exact way he wants it. Then suddenly he's gone. It's like don't leave your pet project in the middle of it. It's like and then don't give any explanation of what's going on. It's like because I know Sega ain't no easy company to work with. Sega are a bunch of money grubbing weirdos who were betraying their company customers before Nintendo started.
I see what you mean.
So like, ugh.
I guess knowing that it is a bit of a like much to say that they don't care about games, considering the fact that they are a game company. I mean, we're not talking about Konami here.
Go ahead. So far you're telling me good things about the game. You're saying it's like Nights into Dreams. You're saying it looks solid, the graphics are nice, and it doesn't feel unfinished. I'm like, this sounds like a great game, but I'm assuming fans didn't.
The whole thing, I get what he's saying. Like the whole thing is that he says it's too easy. Like I've played those games where it's just like, yeah, this is fine, but I literally just turn my brain off and press buttons for like an hour, and then it's all you do. You press, and
it's one button.
And like those games can be like quite boring, right? They'll feel finished. They'll have like they won't like feel like they're like nothing. But it's like, why am I doing this? I'm just literally turning my brain off and pressing buttons. I don't like this is not at all engaging.
Well, it sounds like he's not really burning any bridges here. I was a little bit worried about that, but he does not give a shit because maybe he knows something we don't. Square Enix is apparently selling off portions of the company. Earlier last week, they sold Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and Square Enix Montreal to Embracer Group for $300 million. According to analysts, Square Enix could be streamlining the company ahead of a sale, as rumored, to Sony. What do you guys think about this one?
Oh, I
It
didn't hear
smells
about
like
the
the
second
Square.
part.
This smells like Square Enix. It smells like Square Enix and their NFT business all over again. Because because that's what they did in the beginning of the year. Square Enix has been making it real hard to like them since the year started, because they have been making bad decisions, like with Chocobo racing game on the Switch and how just
I heard the game was fun.
Jacque, have you looked at have you not heard about the notorious online shop that makes you pay for every stupid little minute
Oh shit, they have that.
Square Enix, for some strange reason, wants to make a game that is essentially the same way they're making money off Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 is a different beast that, of course, you're making us pay for it. But the thing is, you have a director that has a vision and knows what they want, and they can't get around the payment parts. But they can't get around the fact that people have to pay for it. But they have the team behind that game knows what the fuck they're doing. Unlike whatever teams are behind some of these other games they've been doing lately, like freaking Babylon's Fall. Online action game between Square Enix and Platinum Games was supposed to be this huge other online service that is essentially another Destiny game akin to Destiny or freaking Godfall. Sorry, it's a mess. It's terrible. The game is terrible. I know someone who actually played it, and I visited them, and they said, "Let me see how bad it is." One, he couldn't get to a lot. It took him literally an hour to get into a lobby. Get to the online service lobby to do something with anybody else, and then he showed me like cutscenes and all these other things. Like, this game was kind of boo boo. It's like, yeah, pretty much the only reason I'm not getting rid of this is because shame. It's like he's the only person that in the GameStop he went and got it from. He hasn't heard anybody else getting this game. It's just bleh.
You think it's a product of their mismanagement of the company? They're just in trouble at this point.
Square Enix Japan freaking putting out all this NFT bullshit and then the freaking whole thing with Chocobo racing, and then this is like, apparently this is the North American side, but I don't believe it. That's most likely the Western side, but I know that's more than that. That they're getting rid of Crystal Dynamics, the people who make Tomb Raider and all these things, because it's like, oh, it's not making enough money. It's like, it's not like you're trying. When's the last time you guys made an actual Tomb Raider game?
Well, they came out with those last two that came out with that great film. It was a more realistic type of Lara Croft. They reimagined the character.
Yeah, and it's like, y'all haven't really done a lot. It's like they're not doing enough with it. They made it, but then they kind of just like, all right, let's like, I feel like it didn't make the money they wanted it to, which, on the first one, I liked that one. I played that one. I didn't play the second one because after one game, I said I don't really feel like playing Lara Croft Torture Simulator, because after a certain point, it's like, holy crap! It's like let this girl like not have a moment where she's being shot at, accosted by some big burly dude who's like pinned her on the ground or some shit, or isn't falling off cliffs and getting full planks of wood jabbed through her legs.
Right.
It's like, it's like someone. It's like, 'cause when I saw some gameplay the second game, I'm like, oh my god, we're doing the torture porn thing again, and I'm not touching it.
Jacque, what do you think about this? Because Sony was rumored to be buying up a big company. It was initially rumored they said it was bigger than Konami. And would Square Enix fit that description?
Yeah, Square Enix definitely bigger than Konami. I don't know if Sony's buying them, but yeah, Square Enix is definitely bigger than Konami, so they would definitely fit the description. Because, like, you gotta remember, like, Konami literally not too long ago tried to stop, like, being a video game company altogether. And then they, like a year or so later, backtracked on that shit when they came out with Metal Gear Survive. But, like legitimately, they shut down. Yeah, they literally, before they came out with Metal Gear Survive, they shut down all their gaming, all their video game parts of the company. So they wanted to focus on pachinko machines and like their like bowling alleys or some shit. Like all their companies in Japan. So yeah, I would definitely say that Square Enix, who are still coming out with AAA games that like major like Final Fantasy games, and who currently these like Final Fantasy 14 is the most played MMO right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
they
time, yes.
Yeah, they currently have the most played MMO right now, which is Final Fantasy 14. If Sony were to buy that, yeah, that would be a pretty big fucking company for them to buy it.
More than World of Warcraft, you're saying? Even?
Yes, it's World of Warcraft. A lot of people dropped off World of Warcraft like very recently.
Recently,
because
this has been going ongoing for at least over a year.
Yeah,
Because a lot of
that's what you
because
had, like,
within the year before the recent expansion came out,
because with
I've had a lot of people who've been
with
from WoW come in.
with allegations of like sexual abuse with Activision Blizzard, along
Oh, I see what you're saying.
along with a very like lackluster really like expansion that came out last year. Many of the fans just like jumped shipped, and enough went to Final Fantasy 14 for Final Fantasy 14 to become the biggest one.
Well, normally I've been pretty against some of these big company acquisitions. I think Microsoft should be approved. I think that's a great move with Activision Blizzard. They'd be a good potential buyer for Square Enix because then they could own the two of the biggest MMOs in the world. Maybe they're a potential buyer. I think that's one of the rumors too. So I don't think so. I don't think Sony should worry about Square. I think they should focus on what they own and then maybe allow other potential buyers to come in.
To be honest, both of these companies need. It's like both of you own a significant amount of companies already that you're just letting rot by the wayside. Microsoft, you've been letting one rot for over a decade. Microsoft letting freaking one of the biggest companies especially to feed the nostalgia of a bunch of people around our age. They've been literally keeping freaking Rare in a cage for years and only breaking them out when they need a Connect game made.
Well, that's also Rare's fault.
People have already split off from
That's actually
from
not 100%
Microsoft.
true. I don't know what's going on. Julian, that's not 100% true. I don't know what's going on with Rare right now, but they like announced like a game, some like Wilds thing like a while ago, and they just have got like quiet about it. Like they were doing their own project.
Well, that's the whole thing. There were plenty of projects that were in works when it came to Rare. But then a lot of whatever extra things that have been that from the people who didn't break off from the company, a lot of the end projects within Microsoft have kind of fallen to the wayside because COVID happened, and then freaking all hands on deck for whatever we can get our hands on, whatever we can do from home easily, and I guess and we can make money off now instead of making money off later.
Well, there you go. That's COVID's fault, not Microsoft's.
Well, for whatever the game Jacque's talking about, but they were sitting on them for years, and then Sony's been making bad decisions for years. To be honest, they've been making bad decisions for years when it comes to characters and IPs and stuff. Like the fact of it's like you ran Jacque and Daxter into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Jacque, they ran Jacque and Daxter into the ground. I don't care how you feel about the other two games. I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel that IP, but when they went Shadow the Hedgehog on us, they ran it to the ground.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. Like, what was it? Jacque 3 is like probably the best of that trilogy. So, like, I don't even know. Like,
that's saying a lot.
Mean by that, like,
that's saying.
When you think they ran to the ground, I mean, like, literally, like, you could argue that Jacque 2 was kind of weak.
What about Jacque 4? Or I'm sorry,
Jacque 2 was kind of weak.
Jacque the Final Frontier.
Well, I'm glad we're all in agreement that Sony has been mishandling a lot of these properties, and I think Square Enix would also be one of those, unfortunately. But again, this year we will find out exactly who ends up picking up Square and exactly what Embracer Group ends up doing with these different companies and IPs and everything that goes with that $300 million buy. But it does also look like social media will be changing as, according to Reuters, Elon Musk told banks while trying to secure money for the deal that he is considering plans to charge users to quote tweet verified users and embed tweets. Since Musk doesn't have any power at the company yet, nothing is final and it should not be taken as an absolute certainty. But this did bring up that criticism of if you are truly for free speech on this platform, then you should not be charging to quote tweet these large companies. That would actually be that would be a move to protect big companies from fans like me and all the others. For example, when we blast Warner Brothers Discovery with hashtag restore the Snyderverse, we flood their tweets with that message. So it kind of takes away from what they're trying to promote that day or that minute. And for him to say, okay, well, let's put this behind the paywall. That way these people's opinions or tweets or whatever are not visible. I think that would change the dynamic to Twitter, and it would hurt the platform quite a bit.
I don't know what anybody's surprised when the person who needs to make money is going to be suddenly trying to help the other people that make him the money.
So yeah, what was it? Honestly, like that's what kind of jump off what Julian just said, because what I was about to say basically was, yeah, like people forget, like people like Elon Musk and stuff, like people like to deify these people, but at the same time, these people are elite, right? Like Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, and like
money coming from money over here.
Yeah, and like the major thing is whenever this is why I was just like basically just sitting aside and just like watching how this watching how this went, because I really wasn't sure how I felt about Elon Musk's acquisition of Twitter to begin with, but like seeing this, it shows that like he's elite, and he's going to his idea of helping is helping people within his within his like elite circle, right? Like that's his idea of helping, because one thing that like when it comes to these people with like a lot of money, they don't know how much shit costs, right? Like somebody, I forgot. I think it was, I don't know if it was a politician or somebody with a lot of money who was like, someone presented them with the idea of $20 toilet paper, and it was like, yeah, $20 to that. It's like, that seems reasonable. And everybody who's like doesn't have freaking like millions of dollars in the bank was like, that's not fucking reasonable. Nobody wants to spend $20 on a goddamn like toilet paper, right?
So
but
average person wants to spend $20 on toilet paper.
Yeah, like it doesn't like register to them, because it's just like, yeah, I have like plenty of money.
Also, I bet they don't even have toilet paper. I bet they have bidets like wash their asses for them.
Probably.
You still need to wipe after that.
That's fucking with when it comes to rich people, I bet they have bidets that freaking that pretty much it's like it might as well freaking shoot it so hard that freaking comes off. It's like it's covered in expensive soap.
They probably have people that use the bidets for them. Like honestly,
it's like, and then some of this client. Well, it's like Coming to America. Literally, the people who are literally just there to wipe the prince's ass.
Julian, just like go to the bathroom, like, who is this person in the bathroom? Oh, that's just the bidet. Don't worry about it. My name is Jim.
My name is Jim. I'm into, I have a certain fetish. Let's not get into it. Just do your business.
Silence, bidet.
But I'm pretty much going to just go off as Jacque said. I'm like, I'm not that, this is not surprising. I had he's not gonna agree to any of this because he doesn't want any, because there's the negative press behind this is gonna get, it's like, I feel, this is one of those money's making moves, and then they keep trying to, and then there's distractions like people still being on about this whole Will Smith thing. After a while, it's like,
what? Really? People are still talking about the Will Smith
still talking about it.
People need to let that fucking go. Somebody tried to stab.
Jacque, because now all the publicists want to hear what every single black person in Hollywood says about this. Even people who are like, I don't really have an opinion about it. They're like, why is this article then if you don't have an opinion?
Someone tried to stab Dave Chappelle the other day. We should be like shifting to that.
Well, that's why it came back up. Because it's another person rushing the stage and attacking a comedian.
And it's yeah. But this time it was some random person, and then the security took care of him, and like, from the pictures, his arm looked like that scene in the second Harry Potter movie where all his bones were removed.
Yeah, they fucked that guy up. Maceo put up a link on Twitter, or I'm sorry, on our Discord. That shit looked so fucked up. My thing on this whole Twitter bit is, yeah, there are going to be major changes to the platform. He's going to be try to make up that money in some form for these lenders, for himself. I don't think quote tweets are going to be a part of it. I think there probably will be a fee if you want to get verified. There might be different levels of Twitter, like different unlock, maybe a lot like Discord. If you can get different features, change your text color, whatever it is, and that's going to be a part of it that they will charge.
I do feel like Twitter could use some could use some improvement. I honestly, and with that whole thing, I don't know. Maybe like he could just be spitballing. He could just be spitballing. So I don't like it.
Are you on Twitter a lot, Jeff? Outside of looking at random people's artistic pornographic renditions.
I mean, listen, like, I'm not on Twitter a lot, but I'm not on Twitter a lot because I already see the discourse. Twitter, you pretty much like a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times, a lot of hot takes come from Twitter. You always have people going off about something on Twitter because you have like Reddit, because somebody will say something I'm talking about not the people from Reddit. It's a completely different group of people who like will come in. They'll say like, what was it? I don't know. Freaking X anime is racist because this character, because this character who is like not black did this thing, but you know, because they have, I guess, darker skin, right, or something. It's just something, right? And then everybody, and they will defend this to the death. And but then people have to come in and like, you know, and kind of like counter their argument in like, was it like 40 words or less or some shit?
Yeah, 260 or something.
260. Okay, it's 260 characters. 260 characters sometimes is just not enough, right? So people cannot like really explain their argument well enough. But what ends up happening is no one's understood, and everyone's just angry. And Twitter is a fucking cesspool for that shit.
Hell yeah!
You think people actually read through the tweets that people have already? They usually pick out the good bits when they're in their rage, and then notice and it's like he said this and that and this and this and that. It's like I'm going to cherry pick these. I'm going to cherry pick your topic, whatever points you made, and I'm going to twist it into whatever I want.
Understand why is it like Twitter is the one that has like this issue mostly, but like why, you know, like the YouTube comment section is unlimited. YouTube comment section doesn't really usually have this problem. Generally, if somebody like explains themselves well enough, you'll have that one asshole that tries to pick at them and stuff. But like most people either will look at it and say, I'm not reading all that, I'm not getting involved in this, or they'll read all of it, understand, and move on. But like
most of the time, it's the former than the latter. Even in anything.
Yeah. But like Twitter, literally all you have is that like blunt, short of it that doesn't really explain it all. And then what ends up what ends up happening is what ends up happening is like everybody just gets this like misconception of what your real opinion is, and then it just creates more discourse, and that's the problem with Twitter.
I feel like there's a problem with some other people who can't really articulate some of their stuff in this word. It's like there is an extension to Twitter that allows you to add on that other thing and it's a link from Twitter themselves.
Yeah, you can always make threads, and it's very possible. I do like Twitter a lot. It's my favorite platform, and I do agree that there could be a lot of improvements to it. So I hope Elon does, in fact, come through and come forward with some of these promised changes, and I think it'll be faster rather than, you know, a wait. I think we're going to see this within a year. We'll start seeing some pretty major changes as soon as this deal actually goes through.
We'll see if this Twitter exodus starts or not in everyone. So what do? Go to Reddit?
I mean, that's
I'll be right back.
It would be Reddit. It'd have to be. Last week, we did talk about Fast 10. Bobby and I speculated on what could be the reason over the director Justin Lin leaving the Fast 10 and Fast 11 film, because they were doing them back to back. My guess was that it involved Vin Diesel in some form, or that Bobby said that there might have been also some creative differences with the studio, because the studio wanted Dwayne Johnson to be in the film, and there's obviously a lot of money behind this. Well, it finally did come out that he did in fact leave over Vin Diesel, and it specifically Vin Diesel's difficult behavior. A producer close to Lin said, quote, "Diesel shows up late to the set, he doesn't know his lines, and he shows up out of shape," end quote. This is actually similar to Dwayne Johnson's remarks years ago when he quit to do the Hobbs and Shaw spin-off films. He called Vin Diesel a candy ass. He said very similar things about him not showing up on time. They were talking shit about one another. Dwayne Johnson said that Vin Diesel was not professional, so it all lines up. Variety reports that the search for a new director could have been costing Universal $600,000 to $1 million per day, as it does pay to keep key crew and cast members in limbo. Well, it was announced pretty quickly within a week via Variety that they would be bringing in Louis Leterrier, who previously directed The Incredible Hulk. I really enjoyed that one, to replace Lin for Fast 10. So not someone that is known specifically for racing films, but it is someone that has worked with bigger budgets, bigger characters. But Vin Diesel being the problem here, I mean, that definitely changes at least my perspective, or at least confirms that he was in fact the problem all along in all of these films. And you can't get rid of Vin. He is your star of this franchise.
Family.
Exactly. Yeah, family. He is family.
It's like that's like taking freaking like hell. That's like that's like almost taking the dinosaurs out of freaking Jurassic Park. But well, it's in some people's eyes. I don't know. I don't know because I haven't watched the Fast and Furious movie since 8. Because like I just it's like I don't care.
You're missing out. It's good shit.
Well, it's like I don't know. Maybe I should try. I got halfway through 9 because I was busy at the time, and then like okay, I gotta stop. I never got back on it. But it's like okay, Vin Diesel, buddy, just tell everybody, it's like, you know what, I'm good. I'm just gonna play D&D and make all the money I want because it's like I feel like this is the which one is it? This is the like one. This is like bring an actor on, even though they're pretty much done with. It feels like they're done with this whole situation, and then they're just but they know they're gonna get paid the thousands of dollars to be there, and so they're like, oh, they're gonna pay me constantly to be here. I don't have to worry about freaking showing up on time or knowing my lines or not or scraping off the Cheeto dust from my D&D sessions off my shirt. This whole thing, and then it's but. $600,000 to $1 million a day to keep all these people from being like I'm done, or just to keep the crew pretty much like employed
under contract. They have to keep them employed. They have to keep paying them. Yes,
that is scary. That's like it's like I'm sorry. I would have. Like, don't we have like? You think Hollywood have like understudy directors ready to come in and just be like, okay, it's like he's gone. This other one comes in. You're here. You've been given information and consulting on it for God knows how long, just in case this kind of shit happens. It's like we give you a decent salary to do this movie, but then your name is in the credits is like freaking your name shows up in the credits like they do with understudies. It's like at least they're even if they don't show up in the thing, they're there in the freaking pamphlet. So it's like this kind of shit's wild. It's like maybe this is why. Well, animation studios are multiple directors because animation takes a lot of fucking effort. But then like at least if someone leaves, there's another director there ready to fucking pick up the slack. I'd never actually because I never thought about that. What happens if a director leaves?
Yeah, and now we know.
This is the result. This is fucking wild. It's like Universal. You couldn't have found anybody else to do this. Freaking pull John Woo out of the coffin he's in or something. I don't fucking know. But Louis Leterrier. How do you say this name? I don't know.
Leterrier, I guess.
Leterrier. I know he was the director from the Transporter movies. That I knew.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, and then he did the Clash of the Titans, the 2010 remake.
Well, good shit, okay. Man. I mean, not a bad pick then.
Yeah, you did a good job of getting someone who actually does do action movies. I'm trying to see if there's anything else on here that I know about that's not French.
Part of me still wants to say, like Film Gob was talking about, we were so close to greatness. We want you'd want the same directors to just finish it off. And it's a shame that Vin Diesel must have just been that bad, where Justin Lin couldn't have just been like, look, it's one long movie really, because they're filming them back to back, and 11 is the last one. Fine, I'll take the millions, deal with Vin Diesel. But if Vin Diesel's really making that job that much harder, I mean, imagine scheduling is already a huge issue when it comes to filming. I've seen it in a lot of behind the scenes features and documentaries where if you're not on schedule, if you fall behind, you cost the studio a lot of money. The director has to juggle all kinds of scenes and shoots all around different days just because of delays, simple delays. So now you have an actor that is incredibly late. If you believe Dwayne Johnson, he'd be hours late to set. They can't get started. Suddenly the whole day is gone. 1 day of work is now 2. And then the studio's behind your back. Like, why is the budget so high? Why are you guys filming extra days? So I get it, man. And best of luck to the new director in trying to handle Vin Diesel. And I don't know, maybe this will put some fire under Vin's ass to like get himself in check, get in shape, show up on time, be professional. I'm not holding my breath for it though. And I just want them to eventually finish it. And hopefully it goes as smoothly as possible at this point, just to knock off these last 2.
Seriously, Vin Diesel, it's not. Why is this so difficult for you? All you do is show up in a white shirt, wife beater, whatever the fuck he's wearing, whatever white shirt he's wearing, his jeans, his fucking boot, his bucking boots, and sit there talk about family, have no actual character, have no real character, and then get up and then goes back down and sit back down. This isn't hard. Everybody else has more character than you do at this point in these movies. Because it's like, no, stop being stupid. Put in the work. Do some crunches. Stop appearing in trailers for video game sequels no one wants you in, and just or in bad video games in general, and just do what you do. Because all the Fast and Furious games are terrible. Because the Fast and Furious game that came out was terrible, and he did have a scene in it, but it was still terrible. And then he was also in like the trailer for this one like survival dinosaur game called Ark. I think Jacque knows the game I'm talking about.
What?
Ark.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
He was in Ark.
Yeah, he was in the sequel for Ark last year. I think it was in one of the like Sony things or Microsoft things last year. I can't remember which one.
I like you telling me Jacque knows it. You played Ark before I did.
Yeah, but you know what game I'm talking about.
Well, there's more trouble for another film too, as Aquaman 2 trended last week, but not over a good thing. A petition to remove Amber Heard from the film has crossed 3 million signatures. Aquaman and the Last Kingdom and look, I don't think, I've said it before and I still believe this, petitions don't do anything. I do think that today you have to trend it on Twitter, you have to do what they've been doing, just hashtag justice for Johnny Depp, hashtag justice for Johnny, boycott Warner Brothers, and put that up on every tweet that Warner Brothers puts up. That's more effective. But I don't think petition. However, they do make articles on things like this. 3 million signatures. That's a huge thing. Right now, the film is set to release next year on March 17th. I personally don't think they will bust the budget and refilm a bunch of stuff without her. From what I understand, what she said already, her cost did not go up. They were like, we don't even want you in the film really because of chemistry issues between you and Jason Momoa. So they went cheap on her being on the film. It's a bargain at this point, and I don't think they're going to remove her. However, how much do you think all of this is going to hurt the sequel to the $1 billion Aquaman film?
Damn, they spent $1 billion. Well, they spent $1 billion, like for real.
You know what? Jacque. Let's think about this. We are filming a movie. We are filming a movie about a water-based superhero, and a lot of these people live in California where there's no water. So they're clearly having to import all this water to get.
Like they're actually spending $1 billion on this.
No. They made $1 billion on the first film. They're not. I don't think they're going to make $1 billion on the second one.
No, I don't think they are, because it's like the biggest thing is just like, what was it? One, yeah, I kind of agree with the whole Amber Heard's chemistry thing. Like, I really like the first Aquaman, actually. Like, honestly, that was like the first time like I was like, oh, look at one of these, was like, oh yeah, I really like this. The one scene that stood out as not very good to me was when they got like stranded on the desert, and then Aquaman and then like the main the main love interest had this like awkward back and forth. That was like, correct me if I'm wrong, that was Amber Heard, right? The main love interest.
Yep, that's her. Yeah, she plays Mara.
So like they had this like banter that they had, just felt so like manufactured, right? It just did not feel like a genuine like interaction between two people.
Well, and usually in those situations it isn't.
And like and that really like and for that moment it took me out the movie, but then I was back in once the action started back up. But
it's like, and then they cut the scene, and they cut out that scene where she just slapped his ass around, and he just and all the bruises he had. It's like,
yeah, they cut that part out.
Like just
they cut that part out.
Yeah, good luck to her for trying to. If she were to try that with Jason Momoa, no offense to Johnny, but Momoa's a big guy. I don't feel like
she slaps him, and then suddenly it's like, he slaps her back, and suddenly her head is spinning around like a Bugs Bunny cartoon. I'm sorry, not Bugs Bunny, Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry did violent things.
Both of those are fitting. I do think it's going to hurt the box office too. If Warner Brothers Discovery at this point, if David Zaslav wants to try to salvage this as much as possible, not recasting.
The thing is, they could have, if she was like that unimportant to like the sequel already, like they've known about this whole freaking Amber Heard being like an abuser and excusing Johnny Depp of being an abuser for a while now, or like they because I've been like it was like 2 years ago when I found out that what Amber Heard was doing, and I was like, fuck it, I'm not watching the next Aquaman. And like they had at least they had a good amount of time to decide, okay, you know what, she's not that important, she's become controversial, she's going to cost us this movie, let's just get rid of her. But they chose
in the president too busy demonizing,
and up until the point where it's like, well, now we have to refilm it all. Well, like, fuck, if you'd have decided to do this like 2 years ago when we all kind of found out about who like her true colors, y'all would have had plenty of time to refilm this fucking movie or film her fucking scenes, especially if y'all try to make her scenes minimum because she was not that, because like she wasn't that important, because her chemistry kind of sucks, which yeah, it kind of does. Then yeah, you had plenty of fucking time. Why is just now you're like, well, I don't want to hear that shit.
See, because I watched Aquaman movie first Aquaman movie once, and clearly Jacque had more investment in it than I had. But my question is to you, Daniel. Warner Brothers kind of having to go through some issues. Are you eating this up right now?
Oh, it's amazing.
Are you just sitting back there sipping your tea like, yes, I'm just, this is what you get.
It makes Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich look like they don't know how to run a movie studio, and I think it's fantastic. I do think it's great. I think Aquaman 2 is not going to hit $1 billion like the first film did. If Toby Emmerich is still in charge, he's going to promote the shit out of this like he did that crummy Battinson movie that just came out. I didn't see that one, but that one underperformed.
I totally forgot that's what you call it.
It underperformed, so as much advertising as they put into that, like, holy shit, all that budget that went into these shitty toys and all this merchandise that no one fucking bought.
No one's buying it.
Yeah, I think that was the nail in the coffin for him not getting re-signed when November rolls around. That's the end of Toby Emmerich's contract, and I don't think David Zaslav is going to re-sign him up, especially after all this nonsense with Lost Kingdom. Unfortunately, when it comes out next year, if Toby gets fired, hopefully, it will more fall on Walter Hamada if he's also still around in the company, and maybe that'll be the last thing to get rid of him. So I'm thrilled. I'm happy. I want these DC films to fail, the ones that are under Walter Hamada and Toby Emmerich, and then hopefully David Zaslav restores the Snyderverse so that we can make money again with those movies. Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, the first Suicide Squad. Those made a shit ton of money for Warner Brothers, and they decided to say goodbye to the money and say hello to the reviewers instead. So, all right, if good reviews are worth losing millions of dollars for you, hats off to you, man. You fucking deserve it.
I have one more note to bring up. Okay, Warner Brothers, I know that you're listening because because one of your biggest haters is here, and you like to listen to what he says. Now, the one thing I want to say is, like, you need to replace all of her scenes with naked scenes of Jason Momoa. Ramp it up to an R rating. Make Jason Momoa naked. Tell him this is what you have to do to get this movie done.
Julian,
if there is or put out rumors that there's a nude scene in it. Shush, let me finish. Put out rumors there's a nude scene in it. The gays will come flocking like in herds. Like a piece of bread left on a beach. They will come flocking like seagulls, fighting each other to get this movie to see if it's true or not. Now, if you lie to them, they will destroy you. But it will at least get butts in seats on the first day that you will make a decent amount of money. You can say this movie make money and lie to yourselves. But then the backlash is going to destroy every last one of you. So I get what I want, which is seeing a bunch of gay people drooling at the mouth, and then I get to see the Twitter backlash afterwards, which will be even more hilarious.
I'm just like, Julian.
Jacque's trying to censor me. That's
Julian.
Jacque's trying to censor me. I'm sorry, Jacque. This is the reason. I
know. I feel like
gay podcast
bias
now. Okay. Because we're talking about superheroes wear tight spandex and all these other things. So now, when I finally take over the show, that's what we're going to call it. The reasons why Julian is gay and still pays attention to comic books and other media podcasts.
Well, there's one film that you won't be drooling over because it's no more just a few weeks after Riverdale star KJ Apa. He plays Archie in the show. I love that show. Riverdale is awesome. After he was cast in the film, Warner Brothers Discovery scrapped the Wonder Twins movie. Production on the film was set to begin this summer in Atlanta, and some speculate that the recent Warner Brothers Discovery merger was the factor, as well as other shifts to plan for other projects. So right now, David Zaslav, as Sil Abdul Inc. has said on Twitter, it's a 100-day plan of David Zaslav going in and changing Warner Brothers and really handling these projects and properties in the proper way, we hope. And so far I'm seeing great things. They canceled Batwoman, they canceled The Flash is over. They also canceled Legends of Tomorrow. So David is trimming the fat. They got rid of the New Gods movie prior to the merger, which was a good move. Now they're canceling movies like Wonder Twins. I think David Zaslav is a smart businessman, and he's looking at all of these projects and going, why are we taking chances on these movies that may or may not hit? Why aren't we instead going with the proven true formula of people like Batman? Let's make more Batman. People like Superman. Why isn't there a Superman film? So all of those things,
Wonder Twins movie.
Why a Wonder Twins movie? Why a Blue Beetle? That was one that they just announced. I hope they cancel that. Static Shock is a show that they're about to do, I think. It's like, why are we making these characters with their own shows and movies when we know they're not going to? Yeah, unfortunately. It's not going to make money.
It doesn't matter if it was animated or not. There's no way they could surpass the animated show that they already had. And also because the person who made that show,
the great Dwayne McDuffie.
Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry. You can't pass up. It's like them trying to continue Justice League Unlimited after he passed. It's like, no, it would have been stupid.
Well, they have actually continued Justice League Unlimited. It's a comic book right now. It's really good. They told us where Metallo went and how he came back. The anti-life equation returned, Darkseid. They actually can. It's been done.
Oh, well,
but
okay, fine.
The whole point is, even if, let's say the static show or movie is better than the animated one, it can be done. Of course, it's possible. But that doesn't mean that it's going to bring in millions of dollars, because let's face it, the Static Shock fan base is not a big one. I'm sorry, it really isn't. So why would we try on Wonder Twins or Static Shock or Blue Beetle when we could instead go with the properties that people know and love, give us more Batman movies, give us more Superman movies, and watch the money roll in? He's not concerned with trying to make different projects.
No,
Shazam did not make levels of money like BVS or Suicide Squad. No, it did okay, but not like it used to.
It's like, make the money off the core,
because honestly,
off your core big heroes first.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I definitely feel you on that. Shazam was definitely like my favorite one. Like it actually was the first one to beat out Aquaman, and one of the reasons why, because the interactions in that like did feel very genuine and organic, and it had some like good scenes in there. So I really did like Shazam was the one I definitely liked the most. So like, yeah, I guess there is an argument for they're not in a position to make these movies, these lesser known heroes right now. But I do feel like these are movies that should be made at some point.
I'll agree with you there that right now, at least with the amount of debt that they brought on, AT&T took on by buying Warner Brothers years ago, these are not the projects to be fucking around with. You need to just look at the stuff that are guaranteed hits and roll with that instead. Not making James Gunn's Pedo Squad, not making Wonder Twins, not making the Blue Beetle. I don't even know what else they have. There's all kinds of shit.
All of the things they're trying to make. They're trying to make a Wonder Twins movie. Was this supposed to be? What was this supposed to be? A joke?
Yeah, I don't like Wonder Twins.
Was this supposed to be? Was this supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek ass movie that was
exclusives?
It's like no one know. It's like, to be honest, outside of the normal comic book fan base, that's the only way people know who the Wonder Twins are. Is to do the Hanna-Barbera comic that tongue-in-cheek cartoons. It's like, no,
the Wonder Twins is some gritty comic that I don't know about. That just like, oh, let's go so much deeper or some shit. Like, as I saw them, they were like, what is it? Some strange bit to get the Asian fan base into this? It's like, I don't know what the hell.
Clearly, these people are just. It feels like this is the same thing with Sony in the previous episode with this one dude. It's like, who is this character they brought up? I don't even remember the name of it. I remember the name of it for like the moment I was paying attention and everything, but like, who is this?
El Muerto.
Yeah, it's like, who is this? I've read Spider-Man comics. I don't remember who this is.
Oh, Morbius? The Morbius?
No. Morbius I know about, but then that was still a stretch on its own, right? But like, it's like, really, we're gonna make a movie off of Morbius?
Well, that one,
yeah,
Bobby.
I heard the movie was garbage.
Well, Morbius was good. It was very good. I do think you should check it out. If you like Venom, you'll like Morbius.
Really? The Morbius movie was good. I didn't watch it yet. Okay, I'll give it
my knowledge of Morbius has everything to do with Spider-Man and nothing to do with him being his own character. and that's why it was weird for me. So this other one, it's like unless they're gonna unless they're gonna embellish certain things, this is another shot in the dark, like Morbius was, that if they don't get the right stuff going, it's gonna flop on its own. Because but focus back on this DC thing. It's like why aren't they making this Green Lantern? Why aren't they making Green Lantern thing? Why are we trying to make if like you're gonna make TV shows, these TV shows need to be something that you just pitched off to somebody else, and that someone else needs to be making, that isn't part of whatever movie canon you're trying to come up with, and make it its own, and just make it its own thing. Like with whatever the heck is going on with these CW shows. I don't know. I stopped paying attention to them ages ago.
Yeah,
but because like after a while, it's like, okay, it's like these TV shows are all right. It's like it's made its money. It's even the same thing with the Marvel ones. It's like I just stopped caring. It's like I don't really know TV shows. It's and then like, only reason everybody's fucking wetting themselves over this whole Moon Knight thing is because because a lot of people see this one actor. It's like, hey, it's that one guy from Star Wars that is really cute, and then it's like the emaciated English person he plays, which it's kind of interesting. And then I have to tell people, he's English, right? And it's like, what? But anyway,
yeah, but that got canceled. So it's just not even.
So it's like, stop making TV shows. Stop trying to pitch these small TV shows to build up all these smaller things. Just work on what you have.
I still have a question.
But that's the problem with some of these superhero things, in my opinion. This is why you're losing me as a person to keep paying attention to these things. It's like, it's like Hollywood. Hollywood. It's like you are trying to make all of Hollywood at this point. Even Marvel, in my opinion. It's like, stop it.
I still have a question.
Good story with these characters first, and then try to make your money second. You'll make the money if they're good characters and good writing and good movies, and then market the fuck out of it.
Question. Look, Daniel, is there some like dark, gritty Wonder Twins comic that I just don't know shit about? Because
there is no.
Oh.
No, to be honest,
making a movie?
That's if they were played up for comedy.
Well, that's the thing.
They cancel the movie. Why were they making it?
They don't do gritty anymore. Remember, Jacque, they're making MCU films now. They're making movies that are comedies with action in them. That's why I don't like them anymore. They're not what we started with. We were promised movies like Man of Steel, and they followed through. We were promised movies like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. That's the tone they set for us. Serious movies that elevated superhero films. Not they're good superhero movies. They are just good movies. Like, they're not trying to make, at least they weren't, trying to just do good enough. They were trying to make something new and fresh, different, elevate the medium. And then they panicked because guess what? The bloggers and critics that were suddenly showing up to these red carpet Marvel premieres, big shock, they were trashing movies like BVS and Man of Steel to really kill the DCEU so that they get invited to the next Star Wars, so they get invited to the next Guardians or Avengers. And Warner Brothers listened to them instead of the money and said, we can make more money if we please the critics, not knowing that these critics were going to trash them no matter what. And they lost the fan base that they had. They lost the money that they had. People like me are no longer showing up. As big a Batman fan as I am, I'm not watching the new Batman film. That's how badly they've fucked up. I'm more excited for a Morbius movie than I am a Batman movie. That's how bad Warner Brothers has really screwed it. So to answer your question, no, they aren't making dark and gritty movies. So Wonder Twins is right up that MCU alley and all that shit. That's right what they're trying to make. Shazam, same thing. It's an MCU film, and if that's the direction they were going in, but thankfully, hopefully, things are changing. But there you have it. That's just to answer that question. We were talking a little bit about Green Lantern, and one of the important characters of the DC universe is John Stewart. He's my third favorite Green Lantern. Sinestro's right up there, and then I'd have to really think things out between Hal Jordan and John Stewart. But John Stewart is instrumental, very important. He was in Zack Snyder's Justice League, and right now there's rumors that he's going to release that scene before Warner Brothers made him replace it with Martian Manhunter. And Neal Adams is one of the co-creators to John Stewart. Neal Adams also helped reshape Batman after Batman was a campy superhero after the 60s TV show. Believe it or not, comics were not number one for Batman like they are today. And so he brought Batman back to the roots of noir type of more adult take on the Batman. And that's the Batman we see today, the darker, grittier Batman. And it's because of Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil that happened. Well, Neal Adams has passed on, and he died at the age of 80. He also fought for creators' rights in comics. He conducted regular Q&A sessions with fans on social media, co-created characters, again, like Jon Stewart, Ra's al Ghul, who is my favorite Batman villain, and Man-Bat. O'Neil and Adams were tasked with reinventing The Dark Knight, as I mentioned earlier, after everyone was kind of used to the 60s show starring Adam West and Burt Ward. The philosophy that guided O'Neil and Adams on Batman was to return to the original formula that Bill Finger and Bob Kane started with, which was a dark, gothic, violent, mysterious Batman. And we do have some reactions from the comic industry. Jimmy Palmiotti, I love the guy. He said, quote, "Personally, he's always been kind, giving, and always had a piece of advice for me every time I saw him. I will miss him dearly, rest in peace. Neal Adams would come up to Amanda and I at every show, look at our lines, and tell us we were charging too little for autographs. I always had the same answer for him. When my name is Neal Adams, I will raise my prices. He would smile and tell me to come see him later to talk." End quote. Another one from Alex Ross, the great Alex Ross. He said, quote, "Neal Adams was a seismic influence on how one depicts life. His dynamic interpretation of realism combined with the energy shaped generations of artists. People like me wouldn't be here without him." End quote. And finally, Neil Gaiman said, quote, "He was the reason I drew Batman in every school exercise book. He reinvented the look of comic pages and characters, made me care about comics at the point where I didn't anymore, and I wish I'd been lucky enough to write a story he drew." End quote. Neal Adams, I have my story with him, but first I want to get your guys' take on some of the things that he did co-create, like Jon Stewart, Man-Bat, and Batman the way we enjoy him today, making him into a darker character. The Joker, he brought back the Joker. Believe it or not, the Joker was not prevalent in comics after the 60s show. He brought him back and made him into the crazy, murderous psychopath that we know him as today.
Well, because back when the 60s show came out, pretty much people liked clowns back then. For some weird reason. You had freaking Bozo the Clown doing some fucking Barney shit, and that's like, what is wrong with the people there?
People like clowns?
People used to like clowns, Jacque. I cannot understand for the life of me what was going on back in the 60s. But this is the same era of people who were starting to slowly realize that spices are a thing, and that we can't make stupid shit like fucking pineapple, ham, and hollandaise dishes. So, it's like, not to offend anybody, white people used to be crazy. White people did not know how to make food. I went down this tangent on food recently, and it's like, people did not know how to make food. But anyway, back to the comic book stuff. I was looking up some of this stuff about what he made and everything. It's like, oh wow, it's like he essentially saved DC from going down from following after the whole Batman thing. Literally, if it wasn't for him, most likely the most well-known DC thing out there right now would be Justice Friends.
Probably, yeah.
They would have been like
the super
silly,
friends.
happy-go-lucky, fucking not even no grit of seriousness to them at all. Freaking Warner Brothers would own them right now, and not Warner Brothers. I don't know. Hanna-Barbera would have owned them right now because Hanna-Barbera brought them to children, but people above children knew like the darker, grittier stuff for years. Go ahead.
My little story with Neal Adams, and I've told it here on the show before, but it's been, I think, a year or two. I met him about 10 years ago. I want to say it was at MegaCon. I have a Ra's al Ghul, a full Batman the Animated Series piece, and I have Ra's al Ghul in there because he is my favorite Batman villain. And I came up to him at a convention. I had him sign my first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, which at the time was $70. This is back before the speculator boom. This is back before every superhero, every character made it into the shows or the movies. So I was like, yeah, I'll take a first appearance of Ra's al Ghul, $70. It was a little bit water damaged, but I didn't care. I'm not buying this to just flip it later. So he signed it, and I'm like, hey, I really love the character. Check this out. And I showed him my tattoo of Ra's al Ghul, And he shook his head and went back to signing it, and he made me feel so small. like he was like, to him, it's just like a fucking character he created. Like, what the fuck? People getting it tattooed onto themselves for life. So I'm like, man, like I felt so shitty about it afterwards. Like, God damn. But that was before I knew that he was kind of an asshole. Like, you know, so I get that he was incredible to a lot of comic creators, but the experience I had with him wasn't a positive one until a few years later. I met him again and I bought some prints off of him, I believe, or I bought another signature. I think it was the first appearance of Talia al Ghul that I then had him sign. Oh no, it was the first appearance of John Stewart, which I owned the comic for Green Lantern, and I had him sign it, and I purchased the autograph, the CGC version. And so because I was spending a little bit more money, he was nice. He was like, oh yeah, if you spent money with him, he would be nicer to you. And I'm like, okay. You know what, dude? You earned the right to be an asshole to me because you created Ra's al Ghul. You created John Stewart. So that's kind of how I made my peace with that.
At the same time, it's like, you know, then you think about it now, it's like, wow, you know, he made my favorite character, but he was an ass. Now, I did not know. Now, literally, I did not know that he actually he was part of the whole issue between Marvel and DC on some like this lawsuit back. I found out about this lawsuit back in the 1980s, where a bunch of creators were like trying to get some of their property, like some of their original like drawing stuff that they made for Marvel before they portrayed them. Essentially, I'm assuming if I'm repeating it properly, like, and he was, you know, pretty much like him and Jack Kirby were pretty much like trying to get like the original pages of artwork for a lot of stuff they drew for Marvel, and they won that back in the thing. And also like Alan Moore and Frank Miller were part of the advocates for them to get that stuff back. And when Jack Kirby and Neal Adams, they won that, and they got the original stuff back. Now the problem is I can't remember what characters it was, what character art it was they got back. This dude's been in the comic history for decades. Like, he was part of the Comic Book Creators Guild. You know, huge. It's like that was back before that, you know, where all of them weren't so petty and like and most of the great comic book creators back then, even no matter what company they came from, were coming together and getting rights for themselves. So this is not just some another random creator of characters and stories and stuff. This is like comic book history who passed away.
Absolutely.
And you know, even though he was a jerk to you, you know, still like, it's like it's like this man made history, and then this man has made a lot. It's like I knew like he was important, but all the research I did, I didn't know he was this important.
Very instrumental.
Like this huge DC guy. No. He in like comic books in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he also helped the Siegel family, Siegel and Schuster, with the Superman rights when that film came out in the 70s. So without him, I don't think comic creators would be as well paid. I do think they should be even more better compensated when it comes to these characters showing up on the big screen or the little screen, but that's still a battle to be fought. But we wouldn't have gotten this far, at least, if it weren't for people like Neal Adams. But the last story I do have about him too is I was working at the comic shop. MegaCon was around, and these guys came in and they're talking about some of the creators and guests that are there. And they tell me the Neal Adams story, their Neal Adams story. I'm like, yeah, let's hear it. What's going on? He's like, yeah, so last year they were like, he's a dick. And I'm like, well, what happened? I hadn't met him yet. And they're like, well, I came up to him and I had 3 comics for him to sign. And without looking up, he said 15. And I said, wow, Neal, $15, your price went down? And Neal then looked up and said, no, $15 each. And the guy said, oh, come on, Neal, be reasonable. And Neal says, just wait till it's $70 next year, just like Stan Lee. I fucking cracked up. I was like, he threatened you with higher prices next time. I love that.
This is clearly an old man.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, just because he did comic book history doesn't mean that he's not him not boomer.
It wasn't. Did he? Actually, I think he's older than Boomer. By the way, I think he's like the generation that gave birth to Boomers. If he's that in 80, yeah, like,
you know, he's like
older than Boomers. But
have anything before Boomers. And
they had like a couple generations before.
No, Jacque, we don't have a term for them. Not the fact that they don't. No one before boomers existed.
Generation,
the world was born.
One generation was called the greatest
No.
generation.
Huh?
I'm not even joking. The World War One generation is called the greatest generation.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Preceding the baby boomers, the greatest generation. They also call it the silent generation.
I think the silent generation and the greatest generation are two different ones. I think
they were never. But that's funny because they were never silent. Anyway,
but yeah, no, that's just funny. But was Stan Lee's like freaking like each of his signatures cost $70?
I think it might have been 20 or 25 at that point, but you know, he was more expensive than Neal.
Okay.
It was expensive to, not only was his line ridiculously long, but it was expensive to see him anyway. And I'm sitting here freaking like I could stay. It's like, go see a man or save this money for anime or video game stuff. You knew where my priorities lied. So yeah.
But that became a line at the comic shop. Be reasonable, Neal. We just kept saying that. Be reasonable,
Neal.
And he doubled down. Just wait till it's $70 next year, just like Stan Lee. It's like you can't come back from that.
And then suddenly it's like explicatives that I don't feel like repeating in front of my children.
But there you have it, everyone. Let's go ahead and move on to the What's New on HBO Max. These are the May 2022 highlights. So the first one on this list is Masters of the Universe from 1987, starring Dolph Lundgren.
Oh, Jesus.
I've never seen it. I want to see it.
I've seen this movie ages ago, and something in the back of my brain says, I don't like this movie. But to be honest, I'm not a big fan of He-Man 80s anything. Especially after watching the sequel, quote unquote, on Netflix.
Yeah, that Kevin Smith one.
The Kevin Smith one that's just let's make He-Man dramatic to the point where, spoiler warning for anybody who hasn't seen it, they nuke heaven essentially in that one.
What?
Yeah, they fucking nuke me and my roommate Julian will never get over this. We're watching it, they nuked there's like Eternia fucking, it's like stupid. I forget how it goes. It's so dumb. It's so dumb how the naming conventions go. But essentially, it's like essentially Valhalla. Essentially, you're a big warrior. You died there.
Julian.
But anyway, fucking
Julian.
It's a really stupid show. And I hate it. And I'm not.
Julian.
And it just reminds me how much I hate original.
Did they use the power of friendship to summon the devil in order to kill God?
Jacque, we're not going to talk about Jacque. It's Jacque. I implore you. Watch that He-Man show. Please go watch it. You will literally call me 5 minutes later. You will call me within the first 5 minutes of the show going, what? I implore you. We're supposed to be talking, but I don't want to do this right now. I'm trying to hold my tangents. I'm going to go ahead and announce the next one because this one has these ones have certain memories in me, which is the Rugrats movies. They released the 1 through 3, which I forgot there was a third one, but that's the Wild Thornberries. But that's the one where they crossed over with Wild Thornberries, which they made that into a movie for some reason. But the first two movies I remember.
The first one was
I own
the second one is the one they go to Paris.
Yes.
And the third one is the one where they crossed over with Wild Thornberries.
Rugrats Gone Wild or something like that.
Yes, that's the one where no one remembers it because everybody by that time the Rugrats hype was dead.
Yeah.
But the first two movies, I saw the first movie in theaters with my brother Steven. And then there's the scene in the movie where Tommy and his newly born brother Dill are Dill Pickles, Tommy Pickles. And it's so dumb. Anyway, moving on. They are Tommy has been trying to his friends are trying to essentially the Star movies return his constantly crying and messing up little brother back to the hospital. and then somehow they end up in the middle of a forest being assaulted by monkeys and all this other stuff. And then there's the scene where they're in the rain. Tommy's trying to still be the caring older brother, but Dill's just kicking stuff. And then and then the monkeys show up and it's Tommy's okay, he's you want bananas here. And he's literally standing in the rain with a jar of freaking pureed banana stuff, about to pour it on Dill's head and leave him out in the rain for the monkeys. And then thunder strikes. The monkeys run off. Tommy realizes he's not supposed to do that because he's to be a better.
Oh yeah.
Drags him back up the thing, and then they sit there and cuddle under one blanket, which Dill shares with him. And then it's like, oh my! And then by the time that scene ended, me and Steven are sitting next to each other, bawling, holding each other, because that was a sibling moment, and we had a sibling moment. We're just like, I'll never do something like that to you. It's like literally 2 10-year-old boys just sitting in the movie theater crying.
It's like the freaking mother of like the child of children, just like who just brought their children to this movie. Next thing's like, okay.
No, Jacque. That's the funny thing. There were other people crying in the movie. That shit was crazy. It was a very powerful scene. It was powerful. It was nuts. I don't know
I do not have a good relationship with my brother, so
because your brother's an ass.
Well, I don't think I'm going to go back and revisit these personally, but if you are diving into nostalgia, we also have the standalone Wild Thornberrys movies, which I did not see. I wasn't big on Wild Thornberrys. I was more of a Rocket Power guy when it came to it.
Huge on Wild Thornberrys.
Jacque like animals.
Yeah, I like animals.
And the movie is essentially like, it's essentially the end of the series.
Oh, okay.
Like, I lost my powers. I can't talk to animals. She has to figure out how to do stuff without her animal talking powers. This is the entire movie. And then, like, at the end, I think she gains it back or something. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I don't fucking know about it. But after that, it's like, it's over now. And then they make and then they made the Wild Thornberrys meet the Rugrats movie. And it's like, wow, okay.
So the Rugrats movie came after the Thornberrys movie?
The third movie came after the Wild Thornberrys movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, we also have another one that I do want to give a shot because I never watched it. It's Street Fighter: The Legend of Chun-Li. I believe it's more of like her.
Is that the one when you see Chun-Li in the shower?
No,
you're thinking of the
animated movie. That's the animated Street Fighter 2 movie. This is the movie where it's like there's a lot of good kung fu scenes in this. Just like with the Tekken movie, it has a good kung fu scene, but the story is utter shit.
Oh, it was one of those shitty live action ones.
Yeah. It's like if you like kung fu movies, just ignore the plot and just watch the movie, and you'll be like, look at all those fancy flips and attacks and choreography. It's like there's some parts where it's kind of chunky, but it's like it's decent enough for that. Let
me know when they have the one with Chun-Li's in the shower.
Jacque, that's on YouTube. It's the Street Fighter 2 animated movie. Look it up. Look it up. Look, Chun-Li's boobs. Woo. Boobs. Whoa. You've seen better art quality from fucking amateur porn artists.
Yeah, just go on YouTube, man. They're not copyright protecting that one. No one gives a shit.
No one cares. Nobody cares. It's a beautiful animated movie for its time.
Yeah, no, I do like it. It's a solid movie, but I will be checking out this live action one. Also, one of the greatest action films of all time, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, is hitting HBO Max, and it's one that I want to do a retrospective on. I fucking love this film.
Oh man, I gotta rewatch. I haven't rewatched that movie in so long, but like the first movie, I never go back to. I don't care. I'm sorry. It's like the first movie. I know the plot. I know that it's easy to come up with the whole. It shows its age. Terminator 2, yeah, it shows its age sometimes with some of the technology in it, but it's a good movie. It's like I will never. It's like there's a scene that terrified me as a child. Not the scene where Arnold cuts his arm off and shows that he's a robot. None of the gory action scenes where fucking like people are dying, getting their heads crushed. No. The scene where it's like what's the name of the actress again off the top of my head, or the character in the movie? Fucking
Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor, where Sarah Connor's having a fucking dream sequence where she's watching herself play with her child in like a freaking park, and then the fucking nukes drop, and then they're burning, she's burning, fucking, and then suddenly the explosion parts happen, and then suddenly it's like skin body parts flying off, and I'm like, ah.
Great
scene. As a kid, that scene terrified me. Every time that scene came on, I would like walk out of the room or cover my eyes. It's like, no.
Jacque, have you seen Terminator?
I'm pretty sure I have. I think my mom, I don't even know if she would even admit this, but my mom was like super into Terminator when I was a kid. It's been so long, I don't really know too much about it. So I would have to rewatch those movies eventually.
I'm gonna cut you.
It's good shit, man. It's one of the best films.
This is another one of those Jacque don't know movies.
Well, I watched the flipping movie. I just don't remember a lot.
Well, go remember it again.
Another example
Jesus,
where
dude.
the sequel is better than the first one, which is really neat. The last thing I'll say about Terminator 2 is if Silas hasn't, I know I'm calling him Silas, Cyborg's dad, but I forgot his name in the Terminator 2, but if he hadn't died in this, this could have been another Newman moment where the same character also works for a tech company and then he continues living and now he's Cyborg's dad in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like he's literally the same character.
This reminds me. Suddenly, I'm reminded of what you said during our stream last night, where it's like, oh my god, it's like I need to. It's like I didn't do it, and now I'm gonna do it now. Now it's in front of me. I'm gonna go down a cinematic universe, or even just like acting universe with Newman, and see if I can make something up for this before he dies, or he dies in freaking in Jurassic Park, because this is wild. That's a wild thought. He's like, he worked for Michael Jordan, and after that he said, I'm just gonna be a asshole dinosaur scientist, security, electronic creator thing, brain poop.
The Newman Cinematic Universe, absolutely. And the actor too, when he filmed the Snyder Cut, he was talking about how they even put in the Terminator arm in the background of one of the scenes. He doesn't know if it made it onto the film, but as a joke, they had it in there too. So it's like, even they knew. Last couple movies here. I don't know if you're actually looking that up now, Julian, but if you do, please let me know. But the last couple movies on HBO Max are Underworld 1 through 3. I had some fond memories of this as a teenager.
About these movies.
I know about the first one. I've seen the first one. I've not seen the sequels.
My brother was really into these movies, so I did watch them because it was, believe it or not, there was a point where me and my brother actually did get along kind of well because I was a dumb kid and I thought everything he did was cool.
Stop lying to me. These movies were made within 3 years of each other each. Wow, that's crazy.
Strike by Iron's hot.
I don't know. I watched those movies and I don't know. They were kind of cool. I remember really enjoying them. They had some interesting concepts to them, but I don't really have much to say. I think they were cool movies. I'll rewatch them to see if
there was 5 of them.
There was 5 of them?
There was 5 of these movies.
Holy shit.
Also 3 years later, again in Underworld Awakening in 2012, and then they broke the system. That's 4 years later. Underworld Blood Wars in 2016. Oh man, you guys were 1 year off. Come on.
People kept saying that Kate Beckinsale was a real life vampire because she looks incredible in that last one even.
Yeah, it's just like this girl doesn't age, or she's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Is it good makeup? Are you doing that thing like in South Park where that placenta you have like freaking, or you just eat like sucking out juice from necks of fetuses or something, or like, or you like, or is it like you bathe in placenta? Or like, do you bathe in milk, like in ice water or milk, like freaking like Joan Crawford or something?
Yeah, she's like 40. She's like 48 years.
So that means back when that movie came out, she was.
That's not too bad then. Yeah,
she was 30 something.
Yeah, that's not that old, guys. Like I say this as I'm like going to be 34 soon.
Yeah, it's like I remember the first one because like there was like this time where I'm like, okay, they're making all these movies with people with wearing black leather coats, which I called it. It's like the Matrix, Underworld, Blade. Just like it's like we love leather. It's like suddenly Hollywood loves leather.
The Matrix changed filmmaking for a while there, forever, honestly.
Yeah, so everybody's making leather. Like, and I wear this leather. I wear leather. It's like I'm a badass that wears leather movies. But unfortunately, vampires were more prevalent in that because dark. It's like between Underworld and the first Blade movie, I think I liked Blade more, but that might be because black. But then with the sequel, I did like Underworld Evolution. Because I do remember seeing the second one, and I think I remember liking it more than Blade 2 or 3. I think it was 2, because 3, because 3, I think I can only chalk it up to me liking Ryan Reynolds being in it for some reason.
I do want to watch Blade Trinity. I heard it got better after 2.
Well, to be honest, because, it was a lot less of fucking, what's his name? He was an asshole. The main character was an asshole. The actual actor.
Wesley Snipes?
Wesley Snipes was an asshole in those movies. Apparently he's pulling the same thing Vin Diesel was doing, just being difficult to work with. I will remember this. He called Ryan Reynolds pasty, annoying pasty white boy.
Jesus.
Yeah, but like this was back before. This was back when he was like dealing with like drug and alcohol issues. So before he, and then also evading taxes or something like, and stuff like that. Like Wesley Snipes was kind of fucked up. He he had to like go to rehab jail.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Now he's just like living off of whatever royalties he gets off what royalties and everything. I personally, I think it's like I think after doing that drag movie, he's like, I just want to do more of these, and then they said no.
He's trying to come back in the MCU as Blade, and it doesn't sound like it's happening, unfortunately.
Yeah, the way Marvel's going, they're not going to bring back Blade. That's too dark.
No, well, they are bringing back Blade. The guy from House of Cards, I forgot who he plays in there, but his character's name is Remy, but I forgot what the character. I don't know if he was a senator. I can't remember. But that actor is playing Blade in their spin-off thing. But yeah, it's not going to be like the first Blade. It's not going to have blood like the first Blade. It's not going to be violent. It's not going to be R-rated. The second Doctor Strange, apparently, the older director before he got fired wanted to make a horror Doctor Strange, and Feige's like, no, it's going to be PG-13, just like our other fucking movies, and it's going to be not a horror film. We're not going to do that. And that's when he had to leave. So.
Feige.
Yeah, expect an MCU'd up Blade and have fun with that.
Feige. If these movies didn't make money, you would not be in the position you would not be in the position to make all these decisions that you were.
But those were the HBO Max May 2022 highlights. If you want to see the full list, they do have them up on comicbook.com and also on Bleeding Cool. But now we're going to head on over to the Brokehead block, which is what we've been doing this week. So, Jacque, let's start off with you. Since you're down for the count, you are injured. How did you end up screwing up your body?
I am fucking okay. So I'm in pain right now. I had a coworker who was like, "Hey, come to the gym with me. Like, I want to like, due to some medical situations, he gained like a lot of weight in a short amount of time, and he's finally like over that and wants to go back to the gym to get back to his normal weight. He's like, come to the gym with me because he needs somebody to help motivate him and stuff, right? So I finally decided to go ahead and go. I went with them. I was supposed to go on Tuesday, but
you blew him off.
I forgot to bring my gym clothes to work, so because I would have to go like straight after work. So I didn't go on Tuesday, but I went on Wednesday morning and Thursday morning. Well, this morning.
Don't tell me you did you did full body workouts on 2 days.
Sort of. I did like
God damn it.
I said sort of. Let me finish. What was I used to say? Like Wednesday, we did mostly like legs and like arms and stuff, and a little bit of chest. This morning we didn't do any legs, did a little bit of chest, but not a lot, and we did the back. The thing is, while I was doing back, I think I engaged my biceps a little too much, and now my right bicep specifically is overworked.
You have a bicep?
He's working on
punch you. I will show you. I will show you I have a bicep. Punch out of you,
Jacque. We talked about this. You can't keep hitting on me like this. You have a girlfriend now. You can't keep hitting on me like this. How are you going to stay loyal to her?
Yeah, the temptation might be too strong.
I will.
I understand that you're head over heels for me, but you got to get over it.
I will kill you.
That just makes him want you more, Julian.
Oh, I know. I'm irresistible. It's like he just loves all this. He just loves all this pudgy belly that I've grown.
No, I sympathize with you, man. The reason I asked, like, I'm not making fun of you, Jacque. Like, I have a knee injury right now from when I was on the treadmill. I stepped weird when I was in cooldown mode, and the speed was coming down, and I don't know what I did. Maybe I twisted it a little bit, and since then, that happened about a month ago. After I run my mile or 2 miles, I then have some knee problems. I get a little bit of pain. But the way I work out is I'm like, well, maybe I'll do some leg workouts and that'll just, I don't know, I'll work the pain out or something. And it doesn't, that's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to just be off of it or whatever.
Yes.
But,
Jacque, it's like, Jacque, leg day once, body works another day. You don't do the same thing. You don't do the same thing twice.
Well, like I said, okay. So basically, let me put it this way: Wednesday morning, we did legs and like push motions, and on this morning we did more pull motions.
I've got your pull right here. Got him. All right, keep going.
Oh, God damn it! I swear to God, this is gonna stop. This has
All
to
right.
stop.
Oh yeah, and then we're talking about like for reasons I'm broke. This is my fault, by the way. This is my fault. Yeah, so that girlfriend Julie was mentioned. Yeah, I went a little overboard at some of the dates that we went on, but like I bounced back mostly.
I'm gonna ask for details after this. I'm going to ask for details personally.
I already told you my ass is broke because of because
Oh,
we
that.
went out a couple
Oh,
times.
oh,
Yeah.
right. Oh, right. That. Oh, right. Because you're broke. I thought something new happened.
No,
Jacque was too busy trying to impress this girl. It's like, I don't think you needed to do that much to impress her.
That's a compliment to you, Jacque. He's saying you yourself are impressive. That's good.
thank you.
Now I see why Jacque likes you, Julian.
I can't believe I just gave him a compliment. And unintentionally.
Well, that's cool though, Jacque. I'm glad you did go back to the gym, for your friend and all that. And if you decide to go back, I mean, yeah, Julian, you're right. Not working out the same thing back to back. But what I generally do is if I go, and I don't know if I'm not giving advice. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but if I go my max on the machines or on the weights, and then I go back the next day, generally I might be a little sore. So I go one weight class under, and then I just do my max on there. So I go higher reps, but that's just what I've gotten from Kelly because she's been working out longer than I have. So that way I don't risk that injury of going my max twice, back to back. But I think Julian's is probably more sound of do leg day one day and then do arms or chest or back another day and all that.
The Reasons We Work Out podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is. What about you, Julian? What's been going on with you?
Right now, I am currently in the middle of finding new work.
Oh, no shit. You've been there forever.
Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah. So
as a clue, I'm not saying what it is, but it is retail.
Due to changes within the company, I am not 100% comfortable with working with these people anymore. It's not some like moral obligation. It's just that how they're running things. How they're running things is becoming more and more. Is completely different from where I started, and I'm not comfortable. And I just don't want. I just don't feel like working for this. And also, the place where I'm at right now was essentially me getting one foot out the door anyway. So I'm back. So I've been applying at places. I had a Best Buy is weird. They had me do a video interview in front. It's like they make me go to this website. I record like responses to questions, and then it got mad at me because my questions didn't last like a minute at least or something. Because I clocked it like, so when I gave them one that was over a minute, they are like, it's like okay. But when I gave them one that's not, it's like it's not enough details. It's like what details? This doesn't. It's like what details? What retail person needs to sit here and get actual person working in retail this long, and it needs to give a large over. You want me to give you like a full 2 minutes of freaking detail about how to do this job? It's not hard.
Julian, they want to see your butt. That's what it is.
Yeah,
they want butt
that's how you get the job.
I can't. I'm not going to show my butt to a professional thing, not unless they ask for it.
Well, then, yeah, I was going to say, well, then you're not going to get the job. So how bad do you?
I like how Joe's like, not let's ask. If an employer asks you, Julian, say, hey, show me your butt. Definitely do it.
If it's going to guarantee me to get a job, and then they're going to pay me more than whoever else is working there, then yeah, there's complications to it, Jacque. Okay, I'm not gonna be someone, because you all get to see random glimpses of it for free during the streams, when I have the damn thing on. So if a corporation wants to see it, they got to pay. But either way, besides that, I've actually been slowly trying to also clean out my clutter. I have realized I save a lot of things. I found this box of random pencils, colored pencils, pens, assortment of stuff that I'm like, wait a minute. A lot of this stuff, I've had a lot of pencils and stuff I haven't seen in here since college or high school even. I said, this has to go. I've already, it's like, I went through, I literally got a piece of paper, went through every single one of the pens to see which ones were good. And then the colored pencils, I'm like, I don't know what to do with these. So I asked a friend, like, hey, do you have like a church or something who needs like random things to throw, random freaking stuff to give to like kids or something, for like after school shit or some kind of like Sunday school thing. Like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. It's like, and then he showed up, gave him the box. He's like, this sounds like a lot of it. It's like, yeah, you're getting a lot of pencils right now. It's like, congratulations, y'all won't need pencils for at least a few years. and then I like started going through. I looked at like my entertainment shelf and I said, okay, I need to put some of this stuff away because I can't get to because I have like all these video games and movies that I'm like, I can't get to the other video games and movies that are behind it. And I said, oh crap, there's like video game swag from convention here that I haven't touched, and I just kept it for reasons. I still have those stupid bento boxes that I won from that I got from a MetroCon mystery box that I bought on the last day of MetroCon back in 2015 when we actually did press. We did press for it. We didn't do a very good job.
We did our best.
Yeah,
right?
I edited those videos.
I went back and looked at them. It's like we could have, if it wasn't for the fact that our friend Robert took pictures, we would have been in trouble. We got caught up in the con again. It's like I had a couple pictures, but I didn't have a lot.
I mean, I took a few of those pictures. I remember taking a few of those pictures.
Yeah, but we didn't. But we had to. Well, thanks to Robert, he picked up most of the slack on that one. But
yeah,
like I found the box of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are most likely all poop because they're old and they've been sitting in a thing and they're not like, some of them have dust on them, some of them don't. I found like, I don't know why I have like I have like 2 decks of Pokemon cards. I don't remember where they came from, but they're like I don't think they're any good. I'm gonna look it up, but it's just I have all this shit that I've just been holding on to that I need to get rid of because I have no space for this because I'm a damn pack mule. It's like time to I'm 30. It's like I'm 32 years old. It's time to get rid of some of this extra stuff that's been literally not seen the light of day since I bought it.
Well, I do wish you luck in your job search, man. Now is a good time to start to look for something else. It seems like everyone's hiring, whether it's Best Buy or Target, the great Target. I like Target, always have.
Yeah,
that might be something.
Them.
Good.
Yeah, the thing is, Julian lives in the middle of fucking nowhere, so
I don't live in the middle of nowhere. I live on the outskirts. I live on the outskirts of I live on the greater San Antonio area, which is one of the smaller cities outside of San Antonio. It's like how
I feel like you just said the same thing, just with different words.
Daniel, essentially, it's like it's not part of Orlando, but most people think it's part of Orlando.
Sure.
Dude, the only thing, let's be real. Listen, let's be real. The only thing San Antonio has is the Alamo and the Riverwalk. And let's be real, no one cares about the Alamo and the Riverwalk because that's all right the first time you see it.
Yeah, we have a better. You know what, Jack? There is something better here than it is in Houston, and I'm not. And I'm just gonna hold on and bring it up now. We have a better gay scene here than you do.
I mean, that's nice. How's it going to get you? Now, how's it going to get you employed?
It gets me laid.
Oh, well, that's nice. Unless you plan on selling your body selling your body to get more money than Walmart gives you, then.
Well, I don't know, Jacque. I don't know, Jacque. Very much. If you would just start the OnlyFans with me, this would have been fine.
What? Your butt is the moneymaker for this channel.
Who's gonna film my butt, Julian?
That's what he's saying.
I mean, he does live with you. I mean, I'm saying.
Do you want to if I'm going to advertise with the gaming guys, one of you is going to help me. One of you is going to sit there and take pictures of my ass. Now fucking stop bitching and get over here and take pictures of my ass so we can start selling it.
Watch I actually offer to do it. He turns me down. He fucking bitches out on me.
He better not. If you're serious, we're going to do it.
That is a maybe next time we'll come up, you'll see if that happens or not. Who knows? Who knows? Because OnlyFans creators are not whores. They're legitimate people who do legitimate work. I only say this because one of my friends bit my head off about it when I made a joke, and it's like I can't. It's like, you do know I'm kidding, right? And he's like, I'm tired of people joking about this. It's like okay, we get it.
So what we do? We just do it like what we do. We just do like pics, or we're gonna we're gonna find somebody at the bar and we're gonna shoot some videos.
Oh, we're not gonna fucking no one. Sorry, I told you I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about many more details here.
Yeah, you got to plan this out behind the scenes, but I do recommend pictures first.
Because I'm not trying to scare off people here.
On my end, I also have some job changes. Of course, you heard last week that I had left my previous one, and I'm now back in retail. And I know a couple of people have asked me like, "Oh, back in retail again?" And it's like, well, one, times are tough. Two, it's
I fucking hate retail. I'm not gonna lie with you.
This is why you're a security guard who works at a hospital.
Retail's tough, man, and it's not for everyone. I know Kelly's tried it. It's not for her, and now she's in the food industry and she's thriving there. Me, I was just in the food industry, and that's not for me. I can't deal with the different food modifications, all that shit that gets to me, and the customer base, of course. So, but Bobby kept, offering, thankfully, this position and some hours, and I'm like, you know what? Let me take some hours. I know I'm waiting to hear back from the post office. They pay amazing. The post office have great benefits. But for now, I need to make money, and I couldn't stay where I was now for much longer. So I took up Bobby on the offer, and I'm in training and learning, and my brain is fried right now because of all the Magic sets I have to learn, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z, some Pokemon. I know I'm pretty familiar with that already, and I think Vanguard, but people are mainly buying Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! From what I've seen so far on day one. And there's so many fucking sets.
Maybe if you be careful if you were here in Texas, apparently around here, one of the big card games is White Schwartz. A lot of people like White Schwartz around here.
This is true.
Is that like
I know somebody who's like one of the top people in the country with White Schwartz.
Essentially, it's like anime, the card game. What
Julian, you remember Sebastian, right?
Yeah, I know him. But like, I remember him. But like, essentially, whatever anime company wants to give us money to put their PNGs on our cards, and we make up whatever they do. Yeah, just go ahead and do that. They have just a ton of different animes, video games, light novels. It's fucking nutburgers.
Well, I do get to see a lot of really cool cards. I don't recognize any of the Yu-Gi-Mon anymore, like Obelisk, the Dragon Mon, and the great pots of clay defenders. I don't know any of that shit, but I will be sharing a lot more card picks on our accounts. Comics still, of course, panels. I've got tons of them. I still have a subscription, but you're going to see a lot more TCG and singles that I do find cool artwork and Pokemon and all that. So you're going to see a lot of that more on the social media accounts. But we'll see how it continues. I mean, I'm getting a lot of hours, more than this previous job. Still not full time. I'm not ready to go full time, but it still gives me some time, I think, so far to still do things, obviously like the podcast, but do some other things outside of that.
And it's better than working at food.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You know what's worse than an angry person who didn't get their right card, didn't get their right item they wanted? Someone who didn't get their food order right, because now they're hangry at you.
Yeah, and that's, I never really came across that too much because I'm just an asshole back, and I think that's a problem. But sometimes they'd back up from that, like, okay, like, but that's not good for me for my health, at least my mental health, to do. But I get it. I just needed to get out of food for sure. But there you have it. A lot of changes. I'll have more next week. Well, depending on how the training goes, it might be more of the same. I might just not have an update as far as work, but I am in a different position. And in a couple of weeks, right now, money's still tight, but in a couple of weeks, I'll get the somewhat bigger paycheck based on the extra hours, which will be nice. That'll really help. But for now, for the next week and a half, 2 weeks, penny pinching.
All right. And then when you're ready to sell, a section off to us, you can talk to Jacque. He's running. He can run the money for a while.
I'm glad you trust him with that. That's good.
It's the best I can do when I'm the talent.
Oh, by the way, for anybody who might be wondering, because he is somewhat well known, the person I was talking about goes by Mofro.
Mofro?
How many froze do you need?
Fro, but Mofro.
You need more froze?
Gotcha. Mofro.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so he's like a top fighting game player, but mostly he's more well known for card games.
Well, you're talking about talent, you're talking about business. Let them know about Lazy Gaming Guys and where people can find you. So first off, go ahead and kick it off, Jacque, where they can find you.
You can find us at YouTube/Lazy Gaming Guys. You can also find us on Twitter at Lazy Gaming Guys. And then, yeah, that's mostly it. We're not really too much active. You can join the Discord. You can join Discord. Well, you can find me at Obtuse Scholar on Twitter, and you can also go to my Obtuse_Scholar Twitch page, which is dead right now. Eventually, we'll get back to streaming on there.
Yeah, where he goes back to Yoko Ono.
I'm not Yoko Onoing anybody.
It's not even Jacque. It's not even. We didn't even at this point. We didn't even come up with it. It's what the fans want.
We did.
The fans came up with it, and we're going to stick with it.
Yeah, right now you're not Yoko Ono, but when you start going on Twitch again, separate from LGG, then yeah, you're Yoko Oning. That's a fact. And how about you, Julian?
You can find me also on the Lazy Gaming Guys Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, not Facebook, fucking Twitch, and we do have a Twitch where we don't use it. We're working on trying to get it. I'm working on trying to get it back, but freaking Streamlabs wants me to pay and to use both. And I said I can't abandon YouTube. I can't abandon the YouTube just yet. I'm not ready.
So the thing about Twitch is the fact that like Twitch, like I'm looking at like Twitch's like community and stuff. They go more on like single like streams. That's the reason why I started streaming on Twitch, is because like most of the people you see on Twitch, they stream like by themselves. Like you see more group streamers on like YouTube.
Yeah, and also we've been getting like invaded on YouTube a lot more often lately, and it's been pretty. We've been getting raided a lot on YouTube, and it's been pretty. So until we can pay Streamlabs, not going to get rid of YouTube just yet, and also. Like whenever I'm streaming, I'm on near the end of my Pokemon Nuzlocke that I have brought up on this podcast before. Almost there. We've lost a good chunk of Pokemon, but it's for the greater good. It's all been for the greater good.
After he's done with that,
for better teammates.
After he's done with that, me and Julian are going to do a Soul Link.
Jacque, I told you before, I'm not doing a Soul Link with you because you don't know shit about Pokemon, and it's going to end pretty quick.
What's fun about it?
It's not fun for me.
I mean, it's fun for the viewers.
I already. But you're gonna first. You have to finish your Pokemon with Rat Ninja.
No.
Yes.
No. Did I name it Rat Ninja?
Yes, you did. Yes, you named Pikachu Rat Ninja. Because at first I thought you were going to go with the other thing, and I'm like, Jacque, you can't do that. And you're like, oh, and I'm like, oh, haha, so funny. Anyway, that's pretty much that's us as Lazy Gaming Guys.
And there will be links in the description of today's episode. In case you're driving, you can come back to the episode and swipe on over and find all the links where you can find Lazy Gaming Guys. And also this week, if you head on over to thereasonsimbroke.com and click on the pull-down menu merch, you will find coffee mugs, masks, t-shirts, sweaters, all kinds of stuff with all kinds of not only podcast logos, but you will find Joker, Batman, The Flash, DC Comics, gaming, Godzilla, all kinds of stuff on our TeePublic storefront. That is, once again, on the merch section of thereasonsimbroke.com, and they will be on sale the weekend this episode releases, and also, I believe, the final weekend of this month, but they always usually go until between Thursday and Sunday is when those sales go active, so definitely check those out. They do help us out on the show. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for being on, Jacque and Julian. Make sure to check out Lazy Gaming Guys.
Problem.
And to you on the other side, thank you for joining us on episode number 507. I've been Daniel, joined by Julian and Jacque, and Brocat Core. All will be well. So, Jacque, honest opinion, do you think Julian will make it out of his Nuzlocke Pokemon play intact? Will he complete?
Well,
no.
How dare you? You don't know anything. I have been playing this series since 1998. Freaking, I know what I'm doing.
Guaranteed next game he's gonna wipe.
You know what, Jacque? You can go fuck yourself. Oh, I'm not going to sit here and do this. Also, to any of the Brookheads watching, I want you. You know what? Because of the recent Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary, I want you to go out to Daniel's store and buy Kingdom of Hearts shirts. And if you buy it, send it to me. Send it to the Lazy Gaming Guys Twitter, please, so I can react to every last one of you with with personal disdain. Because as everyone who watches the show knows, whenever you put "of" between Kingdom and Hearts, I kind of cringe a little bit. Even if it doesn't bother me as much as it used to, it still makes me wince a little.
You're getting used to it. I'm breaking you down.
You're breaking. It's, at this point, it's exposure for me, and you get money, and that's all that matters. All that matters. But please do it. I dare you. Do it and send it to me, and I will react to every single comment. I will make sure of it.